Hi, everybody. I am so sorry about those technical difficulties, especially on such an important broadcast and an important day. Hello, everyone. My name is Elizabeth Spraggins. I am the founder of All Joy Inspired, and I am also the owner of Digging from Darkness, Living in Light. Today is February 4th, 2023, and we have a very special broadcast today because today we are reaching out to an underserved community. There are those who are in the adult industry who maybe are thinking about doing something new, even if it's not right now, way down the line, or maybe there are those who have already left. But no matter what, there are adult entertainers who may feel like they want a little guidance about how to transition out of the life or to leave the life behind them. And they have some questions about how to do that. My name is Elizabeth Spraggins. But to those of you who are in the industry or were in the industry, you knew me as a Laura Jensen. And in one way or another, I was an adult entertainer for 15 years. So today we have a very special broadcast for all of you. Those of you who are still performing, those of you who are companions, those of you who are on camera or on stage. But no matter what type of adult work that you do, one day you may have questions about how to make a change, and I'm here to give you some of those answers. So I hope that we can enjoy the show together. I have some information and a little bit of fun for you, and I hope it's a memorable experience. So, without further ado, one of the most common major life changes that makes some adult performers want to leave the industry either immediately or down the road is their family dynamics change, whether that be through pregnancy, falling in love, having children, or becoming a step parent. Well, that's how we're going to begin. I'm going to calm my happy butt down because we were having difficulties earlier, and I'm hoping that this all works out for you guys. So, whenever we begin to think about making a change in our life, it is usually because something else in our lives changed and our identity is now different. So, one of those reasons that people tend to want to leave or think about leaving, even if it's just once in a while, think about leaving the adult industry, is because they meet somebody special and they really fall in love and they want to be dedicated to this person, or this person has feelings about your adult industry work and has expressed that they would like for you to be the only partner that is intimate in the relationship between the two of you. And sometimes a life partner can express that wish very strongly. Now, over the last decade or so, I've seen some adult performers and dancers and camgirls and companions immediately leave when their partner makes this request that they leave the work, because they want to be good to their life partner. They want to be good to their significant other. And they realize that making such a rash decision without preparation or without planning or without a backup plan in place, it causes a lot of harm, maybe some resentment, some financial difficulties. But they think these things. They believe that they want to leave because somebody that they care about is really important to them. And what about children? Children, those wonderful, beautiful creatures that you create or you adopt in one way or another into your heart or, by name. Sometimes children come into the picture. We either decide as a couple or a pair that we want to have children, and we no longer want to be in the adult industry as we are raising children, or we become step parents. Now, being a step parent is a special issue. I, of all people, understand what it's like to be a step parent and have adult work be a problem for the parents involved in raising these children. Now, if you become a step parent, sometimes if the other parent is in the picture, you may have to deal with not having a good relationship or a relationship at all with those children because of the work that you do. And sometimes this can be a concern. Now, should this become a problem, some adult industry members decide that they would rather leave the adult industry work behind them and have a deeper, more meaningful relationship with their stepchildren and the parent of those stepchildren. These are not unusual thoughts to have. These are not unusual risks to have. But becoming a step parent comes with some responsibilities. And when you get into a relationship with someone who has children, the parents of those children, of that first relationship, their feelings definitely come into play, and it's something that needs to be considered. Now, some people don't have a problem with it. Some parents who co-parent don't have an issue with your adult work. And then every once in a while, you will meet a mom or a dad of your new stepchildren who want to put you in a corner and keep you out of your stepchildren's lives. So that can also be a concern. Woo! But overall, I'm still you got to forgive me. I'm still a little bit whacked because of those technical difficulties. I've been doing this now a month. This is week 4. I've been on this program. And all of a sudden, I've just had the worst luck with the technical. I don't know why. But we're moving on, okay? And this is a sensitive topic, and we are talking directly to people in the adult industry or people who have left without preparation. So we're moving on. I appreciate you guys being patient with me. I'm still newer at this broadcasting thing, and I appreciate you for being patient with me. So we are moving on. For some, the subject of STIs has an impact on their decision to leave the industry, either immediately or somewhere down the road. They fear getting a positive test, or bringing it home to their partner, or maybe they have gotten a positive test and they're no longer able to work. It's a sensitive topic, right? You guys were in for a party. I had this whole introduction worked out earlier. To kind of ease, us into these topics today. But because I was running late and I know that my show is over at 5, I don't want to rush you. So we had to leave out the smooth transition intro. Wait, STIs. We all know what that's about. It's something that is heavily monitored for people who are performers or companions, or for those who live an alternative personal lifestyle, especially if you're a performer or a companion. These are definitely real concerns. Now, this is also heavy on the minds of some of the people who may be rethinking their work in the adult industry, the STI subject. And that is an elephant in the room, especially in the last few years when there have been a lot of changes made to the safety protocols. And over the last few years, there has been a bit of a saturation of, let's say, not so professional performers or not so professional companions or clients, if you will, whose personal safety is not as serious to them as it is to everybody else. Or maybe there are performers who don't really care about your safety or the safety of the life partners or the personal companions of people that they're working with. And unfortunately, we've seen over the last few years some people becoming familiar with STIs who did everything right, and some people that they worked with were dishonest. Now, this is a risk, and it's a calculated risk. And when you do adult work, it is something that you think about every single time you either go to set or you go to an appointment. Every single time, that I'll bet that's one of the first thoughts in your head. Is today going to be the day? But if that is something that is on your mind heavily, and it is getting in the way of you being able to work, or your enjoyment of the work, or your desire to continue the work, that's a legit reason to want to leave. Maybe take a break or leave altogether. But no matter what, though, I got to tell you, though, I've got points to make sure I do something intelligent here. But I got to tell you, a lot of you wonder why I left. A lot of you might be curious about why I actually left the industry. I needed some time to go by before I actually decided to go public with it. And this is about as public as it's going to get, because we are across multiple platforms, and this is forever going to be on the internet. So we're going to have a much deeper conversation about that one day. but I came into question about the safety of my own personal health. Now, since then, I've been tested 3 times over the course of 6 months, and I'm totally fine. But there was a day when I was given a notification while I was on set, getting ready to shoot video, had already shot, photos, and I got a notification from one of our safety authorities, if you will, because I don't want to get sued. I want to get sued. So one of our safety authorities, and you all know what I'm talking about, sent out a notification socially on social media and said some things while I was on set getting ready to shoot video. And it all just went downhill from there. And ever since that day, my departure plans, which had been reserved for a year out. So at the end of July of this year coming, I had planned to leave just because I have some other things going on. We'll talk about that. But the STI thing was definitely huge, heavy in my decision to leave as fast as I did and well before I had planned to leave. So that was a question. So if that's a concern for you, or if you unfortunately came into contact with an experience with these positive tests and it's time for you to do something different, you're welcome in this conversation too, because there are some folks who were not so lucky to now have that as a part of their lives, if you will. Okay. That's some pretty heavy conversations, but we in the future will do an entire show about folks whose lives have changed in all aspects because of one of those testing procedures. But for today, we're going to cover some of the very basics so we can give most people an idea. Now, onto something a little bit lighter, a little bit happier. One of the number one reasons people get stuck doing sex work or get stuck in the industry is because of the... Some people struggle with the spiritual implications of being an adult entertainer, and some people learn to ignore it. But then one day, for some people, they wake up and they hear a spiritual calling. They hear a voice inside of their hearts that tells them they can no longer continue to live doing adult entertainment. And for those people, the message is simply too loud to ignore, and something else becomes right for them to do for a living. So sorry about that. You know what? We got a few minutes together today, so I'm gonna woo-saw while I'm doing the woo-ha. I swear I'll get it. Normally the shows that we do are not this serious, but this is a weighted topic today. And I'm doing my best. I'm a cheerful individual, but some of these topics I want to go into, and I don't want to bore you guys. I want to do a good job about getting information to you that you need to have if you were in a position to be thinking this way. Yes, spiritual callings. I'm not going to get all Bible-y and churchy on you. It's not my style. If you have a spiritual calling, and there are people of all faiths, even people who don't believe in religion can feel spiritual. And what spiritual means in this aspect of a conversation is you hear an instinct from something bigger than yourself, which means you are not thinking about your own heart and your own desires and your own immediate world. You are hearing something that is outside of that. And for other people, it means something more literal, has to do with a belief or an organization. But for this conversation, we are going to say spiritual because I don't want to turn anybody off by mentioning the Bible, even though that is a large part of why some people decide they want to leave. It has to do with religion. But spiritual calling, something bigger than yourself is going on around you, and you can't ignore it. There are coincidences happening. There are really wonderful things that don't make any sense that are occurring in your life, and you're feeling a sense of gratitude for that thing that's bigger than yourself. And that that could make you want to live more aligned with that outside influence, that outside belief. Again, I'm trying to be really careful about what I say. And it has to do with why I left the industry. And I'm trying to make it relatable to you guys. And I don't want to get too crazy heavy on you. But there was a situation that we had just discussed about the STI and the notification from that safety authority that was supposed to be keeping us safe. And I had this, this experience that immediately at that moment led me to believe I was not going to be okay. And it was already too late to make the decision to not be okay because I had already done part of the work for the day. So you all know what I'm talking about, and you're intelligent human beings, but just in case there are audiences not appropriate watching this, I need to be observant of what I do and do not say. But if you catch my drift, right? So at that moment, when that particular safety authority made that announcement, and the industry didn't shut down. They're supposed to shut the industry down. They didn't. And people, word in the United States, got wind of what was going on because this was a public announcement. Industry didn't shut down there either. Right then and there, I got that voice in my heart. I got that voice from my heart, my higher calling, my spiritual calling, my relationship to my faith reached into my chest and it said in no uncertain terms, you're done. You're not taking this risk anymore. You're not doing this anymore. Not one more day are you going to put yourself in that position to be in danger when people who are supposed to keep you safe are not doing their job. There was no reason that day for those people not to shut production down. No reason. And I was thinking about my husband at home. I was thinking about the people who I may potentially work with in the future. And I was not willing to put them in danger. I don't want to be the reason someone has to go home and give their family bad news. Need to reiterate again. And it is available for those of you in the past system. My test is fine. And I've tested since leaving. There is a history of it. My count's still up. You can check it out for yourselves. You know where to look. I wasn't willing to put myself in that position. And I heard that spiritual calling that says, you're done. And I listened to it because I've learned in my lifetime that when I don't listen to my faith, when I don't listen to my higher power, bad stuff starts happening. But for other reasons, and other reasons that a spiritual calling may be speaking to you, that it's time to go, or it will be time to go, is if you find a new relationship with your higher power, whether that be someone you believe up above, or whether that be a more natural connection. Can be supernatural or natural, or it can just be internal. But no matter what that is, when you develop a deeper relationship with this connection, sometimes certain things you're doing in your life no longer align with that. And you may want to live a happier life, being closer to your spiritual connection or your faith. Awesome. That is an awesome way to live. All right, we are moving along. Oh boy, still a little rattled by this. What in the hell? Okay, next we are going to talk about. Believe it or not, for those of you out there, drug addiction or addiction of some kind is a fairly common affliction for adult performers. Some are very open about it. Some keep it a little hidden. But at one point, some of these people who suffer from addiction decide that another way of life is right for them, and in order to do that, they need to leave the adult industry in order to recover. Yeah, I'm one of them. I am one of them. I am a very fortunate individual where what I was doing was self-medicating and not addiction. I can go for months at a time without a drink, pick it up, have a few with friends, and put it down again. But for some, it is an addiction. And where addiction comes into play with the adult industry is some people after they get to this place where they begin to wonder if they want to do this anymore, or if they decided they don't want to do this anymore, meaning the work, and they feel stuck doing it. Sometimes self-medicating comes into the equation. Sometimes making it a lifestyle to be numb to what the world is about because we feel stuck in the adult industry. Excuse me. Sometimes this becomes a way to be okay with your world while you are doing adult performing or in the industry itself. And you're not the only one. If this is you, you're not the only one. Many people either drink a lot, drink when they wake up until they go to sleep, sometimes wake up in the middle of the night, or maybe it's substance abuse to manage anxiety, to be numb to what life has become, or to weight manage. As a female, I am 45 years old. I know what it's like to turn a certain age and have weight be a constant battle. And if you're a male or female and you medicate, you observe substances to manage your weight, sometimes this becomes so heavy of a habit that your body becomes addicted to it. You're not alone. You're not a horrible person. You're not a failure. You're a human being. And sometimes these are choices people make when they're inside not okay with how their life is at the moment. I've known of a few people, I don't want to name names because it's a private matter, who have left the industry because addiction has become so much of a problem for them, it was going to ruin their lives. And in order to get sober and to get healthy and happy again, these folks decided that they needed a total transformation, and that includes leaving adult work. Oh, okay, so where do we go from here? We got all the heavy out of the way. Okay, now I can kind of sit back in my head. I got to tell you guys, this is scary for me to do this. It's scary for me to be sitting here in this place, even though I am so happy in my life right now. I've got the most amazing life. This scares the crap out of me. And I don't know why, but I'll tell you what, I'm going to be upfront about this. I'm going to look at you in the face because many of you I've worked with, many of you have given me so much respect and so much kindness over the years that what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to reach out to those who are in trouble, to those who feel like their lives are falling apart or have fallen apart and don't know how to move beyond that. And the common denominator is adult work. I'm coming from a place of kindness. So if I'm not coming across as super awesome, it's because this is a subject which is difficult for me to talk about. And there are some things which I'm not saying because of the public nature of this broadcast. But at the end of this broadcast, I will give you information about how to get a hold of me personally if you want to talk to me about anything that's being said here today. Okay, moving on. We're going to get to something a little bit happier. We got to all of the reasons why people may decide one day or down the road why they would want to leave adult work. Now we're going to get to how people leave the adult industry. When people make that decision that the time has come, that they're no longer okay with what they're doing in the adult industry, what happens next? Take a breath. We're going to leave the heavy. We're going to leave the heavy behind us. We already got that behind us. Now we're going to get into something a little bit more awesome. Some information that doesn't suck. 3 of the most common methods that people use when leaving the industry. Immediately, something happens and they have to leave right then and there with very little notice. Or they stop doing some of the work, spend money a little bit less, and prepare. Or long-term preparation. They know well in advance that they want to do something different and they prepare accordingly. See? Not so heavy. We're not attacking the feels. We're getting into the brain now. We're gonna connect your energy and okay. Now, the reason that we go over how some people leave the industry is because we have a starting point. Once we have that foundation, then we can build on that and start making a plan. So, in order to make a plan, you need to know your why. You need to know why you want to leave the industry. And then you need to decide your when, which is your how. Your how comes next. Your why, your how, and then your when. But whew, why would some people leave without preparing, without preparing? Oh my God, my brain is just totally freaking fried right now. This is not usual. Normally, my broadcasts are pretty awesome, and today, because of the difficult nature of what we're discussing, I'm a little bit rattled because it's a very personal subject to me. It's very personal, and I'm trying to be very careful about how I talk about it. So the broadcast is available and stays available to people in the future. They got a lot of sensors and stuff out there right now. Why would somebody just up and leave? Wake up one day active at the top of the food chain in the industry, achieving great heights, and just say, F it, I'm out. Can't do this. Nope, no more. I'm out of here. Not going to do it another day. Why would they do that? Why would somebody give up without any notice, making all that money, having all of the perks that come with being a performer or a companion or a dancer or a cam girl? Why would somebody just up and quit? Why would they leave that behind them? I want you to think to yourself, because we have to be careful about what we say. What is something that would occur that would make somebody walk away and not look back? Maybe one of those health screenings we were talking about, possibly. Or maybe they were abused at work, meaning on set or elsewhere. Or maybe a personal issue came between that performer and their job or their ability to do their job. A lot of these things are highly fueled in emotion. If somebody just ups and leaves, on most occasions, it's because an emotion has come into play. And a snap decision is forced upon a person who is successful, highly successful, or still becoming successful. And you know what? That's okay too. Because there's help out for you. There's help out there for you if you are one of those people who had to leave in a snap judgment. It's going to be a lot harder for you if you do that. The plans are different. The resources are different. But if you up and left without preparing, there is some guidance that's available for you to help you through that situation. One of the safer ways to leave, though, should these thoughts and emotions come into your lifestyle as an adult industry member, and you decide that you want to leave, but not just yet, but you can't quite bring yourself to still do the same work that you're doing, but because of the level of success you've reached, you want to keep that connection until you're totally prepared and totally, able to maintain a stability and a financial strength, so you can leave the rest of it behind. So what some people do, some people are unhappy with performing on camera for companies. Let's say they want to do a solo modeling career, and we're going to call it modeling, performing, right? So we don't get in trouble with all of the powers that be out there, because they're kind of jerks. For whatever reason, it's no longer right for you to be performing with others, whether that be a personal reason, a love interest in your life, or a spiritual connection that you're having, or a health concern. Maybe you were injured. We haven't even mentioned that yet. People that were injured. And I know a few performers, male and female, who've been hurt, either in their private lives or on set, hurt. And they're like, you know what? I've kind of had enough of this. I don't really want to do that again. So they decide that a different kind of performing or a different kind of adult work is right for them, whether it be going from being in front of the camera to being behind the camera. That's awesome. I know a lot of people that go from being in front of the camera to behind the camera. There are many things that you can do if you want to stay in the industry, stay connected to it, but maybe not be on camera. That's awesome. A lot of people do that, right? And, but if you want to come off camera but aren't quite ready to do that yet, and you need to just not be performing with other people, you have options in order to continue to make that money and still be kind of baby stepping your way out because you're not ready to just up and walk away. You do have options. You could do solo work. And by solo work, I mean you could do content creation, but just by yourself. You could do camming. Camming is perfectly legal, although I have had 3 years of experience with camming. I did camming for 3 years. I hated it. I'm going to look at you right in the face. And I know that there are some of you out there who are not adult industry watching this. I absolutely hated camming. I hated it so much. One of those people, right? I don't like sitting still. I don't like stagnating. I've got to be doing something proactive or I get antsy. Like I'm wasting time. So there is a lot of downtime with camming, waiting for things to happen. And it was like torture for me. I couldn't stand it. I really couldn't stand it. Oh my Lord. Or for one reason or another, if you want to come off camera and you're feeling like you just don't want to be on camera anymore, whether you don't want to perform scenes or you don't want to do camming, there are a lot of adult industry men and women who decide that maybe just dancing is the way they want to go about it. It's still really good money. And, most of the time, people aren't supposed to touch you. So if you just decided you had enough of that and you still want to market the product that you've built, which is your appearance and your personality, you could do dancing. Or I know a lot of adult industry people that do both companionship and adult performing. And when they stop performing, they stick with the companionship services until they're ready to leave adult work altogether. So you have a lot of options. You have one way to go or another. If you're not feeling good about continuing to work in one area, you have other options. You don't have to just up and leave unless that's a decision you want to make. Then that's another conversation to have. Okay, long-term preparation. Long-term preparation. With either the semi-departure or the long-term preparation, there are things that you can do to prepare yourself to leave adult work totally behind. And the semi-departure means still doing other kinds of adult work while you're doing preparation. Now, long-term means from the get-go or early on in your experience, in your career as an adult entertainer or adult industry, if you will. Right away, this isn't something you want to do forever. It might be fun. You might have a good time with it. You might win a few awards or make like a ton of money. And that is common. Money is easy and it is big, but it comes at a cost for some people. We already talked about that. We're not going to get heavy. We already did enough heavy. I'm starting to loosen up. Okay. The preparation. You got to think about really early on or when you start making decisions that maybe someday you want to do something else. What do you want to do? What is it that you are going to replace adult work with? What are you good at? What do you love to do? If adult work isn't something you love to do and you're doing it just for the money or you're ready to leave it behind you, what do you want to do? So important. The biggest mistake you can make is to go from one job you don't want to do anymore into another one you hate. So before you make that transition, before you take that step to leave, it would lead to a happier, more permanent success if you got your life ready to do it. And the more time you give yourself to prepare, the better it will be for you, the more comfortable the transition will be. So whether you want to go to school, some adult industry people go to school while they're building a career because they know that one day when their career is over, they'll have something to fall back on. Not everybody's about college, though. Not everybody likes to go to college. Not everybody wants to put in that commitment to have that schedule that is just mind-boggling. mind-boggling. I know a few performers over the last 15 years who were full-time college students while they were maintaining a career, building a career that could pay for it. Holy crap. These people are superhuman. I don't know how they did it. Like, frankly, I would burn out. I would turn into a raving lunatic. Kudos to you out there who are going to school full-time or have gotten degrees while, maintaining or building a career. That is nuts. I congratulate you. Tipping my hat. There are other things that you can do to build a foundation for success if you decide that you want to leave. You could learn a trade. Learn a trade. If you're good with your hands, you could maybe start studying on your own, watching YouTube videos. Maybe spend your day off when you're not, working on your adult business. Maybe spend time around people who do something you really want to learn how to do. Just start learning that way. There are a lot of ways that you can learn to do something that can make you money other than selling a product that is easy to sell and in high demand, but it is coming at a cost to you and potentially could, cost some people their lives. But you don't have to go that route. Start early or start now and begin building a foundation to do something when you decide your time in the adult industry is over, whether that be through mentorship or through self-study, or maybe you could hire someone to help you, like a coach or a therapist. Woo! Okay, so now that we've got that out of the way, now we're going to talk about the tools, things that you already have as an adult performer that can be key to your success outside of the industry. And I am... what am I doing? Oh, heck-a-duck. Pardon me one second. I'm still a little lost. I'm a little rattled because I really don't like computers. I hate computers, you guys, which seems entirely fitting that everything I'm doing now and this amazing life that I've built every day has to do with a computer. So like when it doesn't go right, it just makes me like, makes me a little tense. So here we are. Okay, we are working on this. I hope I got the right one. Oh my gosh. Yes. Okay, I think we're back on track. One of the number one reasons people get stuck doing sex work or get stuck in the industry is because of the money. They're afraid to lose the money. But with careful planning and some easy steps to take, you can manage a smooth transition while taking care of your financial stability. Hello? Yep. Okay, my music stopped. Oh, there it is. We were caught in the middle of a loop. Money. Number one reason people get into adult work or don't want to leave adult work. No matter what is pulling you to not want to do it to begin with or not want to leave when you're already in it. Money is the number one reason. Somebody somewhere said, yeah, I'm not going to do that to you. I'm not going to do that to you. I promised myself I wasn't going to take this in a certain direction, and I'm not going to. Number one reason people feel compelled to do adult work or get stuck doing it or leave adult work and then come back to it is money. Where's the lie in that? That is the absolute truth. Now, what if you could actually replace the money that you lost? Even if you have to start from the very beginning and work your way up to becoming strong in whatever field you decide you want to go into later, what if you could replace that? Now, some of you out there are extremely successful. You built businesses, you built studios, you've built agencies, and that's amazing. It's an incredible success, and I applaud you. I'm really happy for you. I got nothing bad to say about the adult industry. Nothing bad to say about it. My reasons to leave were personal. That doesn't mean that it's going to affect everybody else. But should there come a time when you begin to wonder about what you're going to do when your time as an adult performer comes to an end, you got to start somewhere. And managing your money and learning how to deal with money is critically important to making that decision to leave long-term or permanent. So you don't feel forced to come back for the same reason you got into it or the same reason you got stuck. Learning how to spend money more responsibly. Maybe not buying so many luxury items so you can put more money away. Maybe seeing the money that's left over at the end of paying your bills a little bit differently. Putting money aside. Learning to invest. Investing is not this abominably difficult thing that it used to be back in the day. Now you can invest on your phone. You push a few buttons, and there are endless experts and videos to help you explain how to do that. You can invest as little as $5 or as much as you want to, but what I highly recommend, and I'm not a financial expert, is to learn to use your money to make you money. One of the wisest people I ever talked to very early in my career told me to do as much content as I could possibly do. So when I didn't want to perform or couldn't perform, I still had something to sell. It's the same thing with money. You want your money to grow you money while you're asleep. You want it to keep making you money even when you do nothing to it. And that is possible with investing. It's possible with, acquiring assets. Now, asset is something that makes you money. You pay for it and it makes you money. Not something that keeps costing you money. Oh, that's a whole other conversation, but yeah. Wow. Oh, I am really grateful you guys are here. And I appreciate you being patient with me while I have this difficult conversation, because not only am I sharing this information with you, I'm hearing it myself. I've only been out of the industry now for about 7 months. And all of these things that I'm talking to you about, I've had to have those conversations with myself since I left. Maybe once or twice I thought about coming back. Maybe once or twice I got a little scared about not doing the work that had become so familiar and the money that was so stable. It's a whole different life, and it can be scary sometimes. But if you have the right system in place, you can make sure that decision of yours doesn't become less important than the money you want to make with it. So where do we go from here? From here we go to, we go to making a plan. What are we going to do next? Okay, my things are out of order. Yeah, I'm still learning how to do this. Oh, okay. I care. I care, and we're talking about this because I know how scary it is. I know what it's like to feel sad. I know what it's like to feel like the whole world is crushing you because you feel stuck. I know what it's like to go to the work and to hate it so much. Need to maybe have a few drinks or maybe observe a substance that you probably shouldn't be doing. I know what it's like. I know what it's like to go home from the work and look at the person you love and wonder, how can I do that to this person? How, knowing the goodness in your partner's heart, how can I do that? How can I keep doing this? And then finding a way to be okay with it yet one more time, over and over and over again. This is hard for me to talk about. I know there are a lot of good people who may feel the same way, but find a way to be okay with it because the money is so good. That's why the subject, and money is just difficult to talk about in general. Most people don't like to talk about money. It's intensely personal. You walk up to somebody and a random stranger and you say, hey, how much money do you make? You might get smacked in the mouth. I don't know. Okay. But once we get that money issue out of the way, it's another kind of edgy part of the conversation that we have to have about you need to get that in check before you make that decision to, to leave, to depart, to say goodbye, turn your back on it. But now that we got that, what are some of the tools you already have? Whether you're a little newer to the industry or to the work, or you've built an entire career or a sizable career, what are the tools that you already have? What are some of the things that you already know that are successful in business, successful in other areas of work, other areas of income? Ooh, now we get to the fun stuff. Whether you love it, hate it, or just tolerate it because you have to, the power of your social media presence and the way that you handle the transition can turn your fan base into your future customer base. If you're careful and follow the next steps I'm going to tell you, you can harness the power of your pages. Yes! Yes, all you kings and queens out there. Yes, your social media pages, your advertising for your adult work. Yes, you have power in your social media. So think of it like your own self-produced advertisement. Right. Now, if you plan on going into business after you leave the adult industry, or you plan to do something in sales or something public related, you can harness the power of your social media pages to support your new way of life. You can harness the energy of the people who already think you're the greatest thing ever to help push you over some of those, bumps and bruises that you may have when you're building a new way to live without the adult industry in it. And we're gonna talk about that because this is a fun subject. This is absolutely a fun subject. Some of you are pretty badass though. Like, badass is not a bad word for all of you folks out there. Give me a hard time about my language. Some of you are really badass. Now, how many times have you guys been deleted? How many times have you been suspended from social media? And how many times do you get back up and build a whole new audience out there who are subscribing to your pages, who are clicking on your follow, who are liking and commenting on the things that you post? It's not easy to do. Holy crap. But I got deleted. Get me started about that. I was deleted for 7 weeks? I couldn't have been more relieved because I hated it. I absolutely hated posting to that app. It was an intrusion on my personal time. It was an intrusion. But then I hired a lawyer and I sued the MFers because I was deleted for impersonating myself. Now, I know that when some people have their accounts deleted or suspended or banned, they pick themselves up. They build a whole new account. I've watched this happen over and over and over again, and that is crazy to me. That all by itself is like a magic. It's like a magic wand you have in your pockets. If you can do that, if you can rebuild your social media pages after having them just completely kaputs, you already got it half in the bag. So how do we transition the social media pages when we are preparing to leave adult work, or we are leaving adult work or have left? So one of the things that I highly recommend, and these are things that I've done and I have found successful. So I have not lost any of my fans or my website members. In fact, my numbers have actually increased since I've started doing these things. So heads up to all of you out there who are wondering how you can keep your fan pages or your social media pages and then harness the power of those. Very first thing I highly recommend is not posting so much, or to stop posting explicit videos or pictures. And what I mean is pictures that directly connect you to the work that you eventually don't want to be known for anymore. Cool? We all know what I'm talking about because we're still a public broadcast right now and I got to be careful. Stop doing that. You don't need to do it anyway. I mean, some of you may feel you make more money if you post these explicit images or videos, but the fact is you're actually cutting yourself in the jugular. If you do that, you're cutting your balls off. Stop doing it. I've been trying to teach people this for years, and some people listen and some people don't. But the people that do listen, they make more money. And if money is a concern when you're trying to leave and you're trying to put money aside or you're trying to finance a way out, you want to make more money. Listen to people who make a lot of money or who have made a ton of money. And one of my biggest pieces of advice is stop posting explicit stuff. Stop it. But if that's your thing, right on for you. I don't recommend it. But what you're trying to do with your social media pages and your fan pages is to begin to bridge the gap between who you are now and who you eventually want to be. And the more you bring the type of content and you bridge the gap between the two of those by merging them a little bit, then it's easier for you after you merge to take it in a different direction. Here's what I mean. If you're someone who tends to post explicit nudes or videos, what I recommend is maybe bridging from explicit to suggestive. And by suggestive, I mean going from NC-17 to maybe rated R, and then from rated R to PG-13. And occasionally, you're going to tap dance with PG-13 to PG. And then you're going to hop back and forth on your social media pages between PG and PG-13. Now, the PG-13 will still remind them that there's other stuff that you've done, and they're still going to want to see your other stuff, because PG-13 could be a look, it could be an outfit, but it's not giving away the farm. And then hopping back and forth from PG-13 to PG means you are starting to close that gap between who you are or who you don't want to be known as in the future to who you want to be. So I recommend to harness the power of your social media pages to be able to keep them long-term after you leave the adult industry is to start posting PG-13 and PG and bouncing back and forth between those, and eventually posting less of the R until you no longer post rated R at all. Totally possible, highly effective with social media transitioning, by the way. And then while you're bouncing back and forth from PG-13 type posts and PG posts, maybe add in a few G-rated posts. And I don't mean not adult related, because we are totally staying away from including anyone under the age in anything. Once your accounts have adult material on them or suggestive material on them, keep children totally off that shit. Don't be that scumbag that does that is posting family pictures and shit if you've got adult material on your pages. Don't do that. It's fucking wrong. Yeah, I said the F word because I feel strongly about that. Just don't ever, because there are monsters out there who will see your adult material, get into a mood, and then cross that bridge without separating it. And you don't want that. That's horrible. Fucking horrible. Don't do that. Oh. Okay. Another thing to do in order to prep and transition your social media page is to go from a life you are in that you no longer want to the life you want, and to be able to carry those social media pages through, and for that to be a healthy transition, is begin to post things that are part of your life that are outside of the work that you want to leave behind you. And what I mean is, start posting about hanging out with people not in the industry, or doing things with friends that you might have in the industry that don't involve the work, don't involve the set. Say, maybe you guys went to a club, you went dancing, you had a good time. Talk about that. Post a picture of you guys having a good time outside of work. Or maybe school. School is adult related. You're not involving anything inappropriate. You did great at school. Maybe make a post about how you passed a test or you got a good grade, or how you're starting a new course. Anything that is related to outside of the industry is a good thing to start infusing that onto your social media pages. So people know more about you. They are learning more about you that has less to do with this thing you want to leave behind you. And the more people know about you outside of your adult work, the more likely they are to follow you when you leave your adult work behind you. Yes. Funny memes. Woo! Okay. Everybody loves to laugh. Everybody loves to laugh. especially when people are going through hard times, and there are a lot of people going through hard times right now. I mean, some really messed up stuff is happening in the world. And no matter which polarizing view you have of any of it, people are angry. People are miserable. People are scared. And if you and your social media pages can be a source of laughter or something happy for people to think about, they're going to be drawn back to you. They're going to want to see your page again to see if you have that positive feeling or that feel good material for them to see. The more you post something funny and the more you post something happy, people will be drawn to you. You will be magnetizing. Your account will be magnetic. One of the ways that I've grown my accounts over the past couple of years, even though I've done less and less and less adult work and eventually am going to fade completely out of it, is because I give people something to see that doesn't remind them of the crap going on in their personal lives. People come to social media to ignore the world, to be entertained. And for some people, that is a particular area of interest that would normally upset the other half of the world right now. Everybody's fucking nuts. Everybody's nuts. But offer people something to laugh at. Offer them something interesting to think about, like something personal about you, something interesting about you, a story you might have, or a joke you heard. Offer them something that's going to make them feel good. There's enough battle wounds in the world these days. There's enough anger and hatred and distrust and so much negativity. Be the positive source of light that people are drawn to. And you can actually grow your social media pages even though you're doing less of the work they originally knew you for. Don't argue with people. Every single time I see someone do this on social media, they get into they get into a verbal, fist fight with somebody online. I'm just like, what is the purpose of that? What is the purpose of that? To get into an argument online on your social media pages, your professional pages. Do you have any idea how bad that makes you look? Unless you clearly and in a good natured manner, or even comically have the entire upper hand in that conversation, you just make yourself look weak. You make yourself look weak and out of control of your emotions. It just makes you look bad, people. Stop arguing. I mean, like arguing with folks on social media. A spirited discourse is one thing, but when it gets into like personal attacks and insults and who's got the bigger appendage, it just makes you look like an a-hole. Just stop it. Stop it. When people see that, it might be interesting to them for the moment, but you know what they're going to remember about arguments you have online? They're going to remember that you're a douche. They're going to be like you're somebody who couldn't keep themselves in check long enough to find a rational or even fun way to navigate that conversation. People who argue online, I swear, it's like getting a splinter in your thumb. You want nothing to do with that damn thing, but it's already there. So you're looking at it. Ugh, you can't get that argument out of your head. That's a negativity people don't want. I mean, just stop doing it. It makes you look bad. Don't be arguing on your social media. My God. Okay. Oh, and last for this section, last one. Start sharing successes of other people. Quote tweets are an exceptional way to grow your page. It's easy, it's respectful. It is one of the most effective ways to grow your social media pages, especially when you're trying to transition the type of content that you're offering your followers. Use repost people's posts that you found interesting or fun or funny, the happy stuff, and then include a little comment in the quote of the reposting that you're doing. Something respectful, something admiring. A lot of times what I'll do is I'll see something and I'll think, wow, that's pretty damn cool. And, I'll add my own comment at the top, and it makes the author feel respected or, appreciated. And then other people, who see that person's post on their page will go through those quote tweets. And if they see you have something positive or something interesting to say about it, chances are they're going to follow your account and you're going to grow your following. Woo! All right, now that we've gone through all that, I know that was a bit much. Now we are going to go through making a plan. Here we go. It is so important as you move along in your journey to doing something different for a living that you infuse as much positivity and as much joy and happiness into your new lifestyle. There are going to be some bumps and bruises along the road as you learn to do things differently and to see things differently. And that positivity is going to be the strength that you need to make it through the tough times you may have. Here's what I mean. Okay. It's about making a plan. Now, there are a lot of other shows that we've done and that we will continue to do in the future to help you understand specifically how to make this plan in order to get from being deep in the industry to maybe gradually working your way out or to just leaving. There are shows that we have done and shows that we will do in the future to help you to learn the specifics of that. But right now we're going to talk about things you can do to help you make that plan. And one of those things is to talk to others who've done what you want to do. Find someone who was in the position you were in, whether you are or were a companion, or maybe an on-stage or on-cam entertainer, or maybe you were on set, an actual performer entertainer. Talk to someone who did what you do that you no longer want to do. And then speak to people who have accomplished what you would like to learn or like to accomplish, things that you would like to do. Get yourself a mentor. I talk to people often who were in the adult industry, people who were companions, people who were dancers or cam girls, and I ask them how they made the change and what that process was like for them. And in those conversations, I learned bits and pieces of information that I kept for myself that worked for me while I was going through my own journey. And I have a lot of respect for people that have done it because it's not easy and it can be really scary. But I'll tell you what, it is one of the most fulfilling things I've ever done. I've never been happier, you guys. For those of you out there who've known my work for many years, or for those of you who have worked with me, I'm actually really happy. I sleep at night. My health is good. My relationships are better. And for me, that's what I needed to do in order to make those other things happen, was to create a new life for myself. And if that's something that you need to do, find someone who's done it and talk to them. Just talk to them. We're people too. We used to do what you did. More than happy to share the love, right? Or maybe if talking to someone face-to-face on a personal level isn't right for you because you don't like to get that close to people just yet, you're still kind of finding your way into that comfort, hire a professional. Go talk to a professional. And now there are some professional services available that are subsidized with public resources. Maybe you need help with sobriety. Sobriety can become one of those things that traps people into this lifestyle that they don't want. Maybe you need help with housing. Maybe, the money that you're making is something that you're no longer making because of a sudden or, misplanned departure, and you need help with housing. Maybe a coach would help. Maybe someone who can help you get your goals in order and see them for yourself, what your capabilities are, and help you to look into yourself, what it is you really want. A coach can help you do that. Or maybe you need help with financing. Money. Back to that M word, money. If you need help with managing money or managing your finances through this transition, there are people who exist just to help you learn how to deal with money as you're leaving the industry and moving into a life with that behind you. Get back in touch with your family. If your work in the adult industry separated you from loved ones, with your friends, with people you respected, begin to reach out to them. Connect. say hello. If they're not too happy with you, right? But if these are people that love you, who you separated yourself with because you're living in a way that you no longer want to live, reach out to them, say hi. Let them know that you're thinking about making some changes, that you're looking into it. See how happy they'll be for you. Okay. Now that we got that out of the way, we are going to get onto our last video, and then we'll get to the Q&A. I know this has been a long one today. It is so important as you move along in your journey to doing something different for a living that you infuse as much positivity and as much joy and happiness into your new lifestyle. There are going to be some bumps and bruises along the road as you learn to do things differently and to see things differently. And that positivity is going to be the strength that you need to make it through the tough times you may have. Here's what I mean. Yes! Yes! Now comes my forte, positivity and awesomeness. While you're making these changes, I know this is so much information, and this actually should have been split up into 2 broadcasts. I got a little excited about myself doing this. This was the first of its kind. But when you're going through all of this stuff, and all of this stuff kind of overlaps, one thing after another, they overlap, and you will go back and forth between these stages. I mean, just a couple of weeks ago, I had fleeting thoughts about, am I doing the right thing? And then my other reasons for wanting to leave it behind me were like, yeah, girl, yeah, you're doing the right thing. And one of the ways that you keep that thought in check is to remember why. WHY, why you no longer want to be a part of this world, why you no longer want to do this. And you have to infuse that into your heart so strongly that when you come upon tough times or times that are unhappy, and there are parts of this process that are going to be hard, but it's going to be worth it because that reason why is going to be in your heart, and it's going to be protected by your determination to keep moving forward no matter what bumps in the road you may experience. Celebrate every single success that you have, every single one. If you make a plan, celebrate that. Pat yourself on the back. If you manage to outline your plan, celebrate that too. If you wake up one day and you tell one person, I'm thinking about doing this, that's a success too. Because once you start telling other people, it becomes more real in your minds, and then kind of feel obligated to start doing things about it. Start talking about it. Celebrate everything. If you're getting your health in check, your sobriety, if you are taking steps while you're still in the industry planning to leave and you're addressing your sobriety, because that's a real thing that you feel you need to do, and you start on that path of getting that health back, that you're breaking free from that addiction and you're beginning to live beyond that addiction, celebrate that. Start everything in your life that goes right. Celebrate it, appreciate it, have a sense of gratitude and joy in your heart for every little thing that is not going wrong. For the times when stuff tends to get a little antsy, you're going to have all that positivity in your heart and all that gratitude in your heart that is going to make those kind of not so awesome times not seem like such a big deal. Fill your tank with joy. Fill your insides with gratitude. And all of that other stuff is going to bounce off of you, or it's not going to get to you as hard as it might otherwise. Relationship healing. Once you start making plans or start taking steps to leave this work behind you in order to be committed to the special person in your life, you're going to start seeing positive changes in your relationship. In you, in yourself, you're going to feel a deeper connection to that person who's important to you. And that person is going to see that you feel a deeper connection to them. That person is going to feel more respected. They're going to feel like they're more important to you. And to a life partner, there is nothing more wonderful of a gift to give than to make them the only person in your world who matters to you in all ways. and leaving adult work behind you makes that person front and center, makes them the only person front and center in your relationship. Whether you have an alternative lifestyle or an open relationship or not, there's always a number one. And that number one will finally get to feel like number one, if that is the case in your love life. And that is a beautiful gift to give to somebody. But for you in here, that's also an amazing healing power to tell yourself you're no longer disrespecting this person you care so much about by just going to a job, just doing this work. I'm telling you guys, one of the most amazing things to happen. Okay. Oh, and of course there's money. There's that M word again. Learning how to make a lot of money and learning how to make a great deal of money without needing to sell that product can bring you a sense of peace and a sense of joy and relief, not only for you, but for your life partner, for your family, for your friends who are concerned for all of those other reasons. All right, you guys, I know we went through a lot today. I know I threw a lot at you, and this was not the most comfortable conversation for me to have. Frankly, because I had to be careful about what I was saying for different reasons. But I promise you, I will continue to attempt to reach out to you in a way that is effective. And if today was a little rough to watch around the edges, okay, I get it. I get it. When I'm having fun about a topic, our shows go a lot more smoothly and we have a lot of fun. This is kind of heavy today. So I want to just say thank you for sticking with me through the whole show. And we have one more important message. I didn't just want to thwart this on you guys. One more message that needs to be out there with this type of broadcast. With our special edition broadcast, we are going to... If you or someone you know is being forced to engage in the adult industry or in sex work and it is not their choice, there are people standing by with resources that can help you. It is 100% confidential. They are standing by 24/7 to get you connected to the people who can help you. There is a way out. I want to end the show for people who may have been watching looking for a way out, who may actually be stuck against their will in one way or another. The people we addressed with this show today were people who are voluntarily in the industry in one way or another, are voluntarily doing the work. There are some people, however, and that's not the case. And if you are in the work, doing the work, and it is not your choice, there are people who can help. You can call that hotline. I will put that up one more time. Or you can look it up online on your phone. No matter where you are, there are people available 24/7 to help you find a way out. I thank you all for watching the show today. I know it was a bit heavy. The next show we have will be a lot more lighthearted and fun. So for right now, we are going to go to the Q&A. Oh, there are a ton of you here right now. Okay. All right. You have a plan. You have a plan, but it's not working. Are you still with me, hon? What is the plan that you have that's not working? I don't know enough about what you're describing in order to respond. Okay. Yeah. Oh, activate the instant translation. I don't know how to do that. Hi, Chris. Hi. Yes, thank you. Chris is our resident bad boy. Chris is one of my members from Digging from Darkness, Living in Light. Woo! Chris, today was rough, man. Today was rough. Today we had the technical difficulties, which kind of threw me for a loop, and then the difficult subject matter. But we went through the show. I didn't quit. We got through it. And and next time we're going to have a lot more fun. Okay. Who else do we have here? Hi, Bruce. I appreciate that you have attempted to add many, many comments to this show. And as much as I appreciate the enthusiasm, I think a different venue is more appropriate to try to have a personal conversation. So I thank you for watching, and I am responding to you now because I don't reply to comments during the show because there's a lot of information that needs to get out. So I answer all the questions at the end of my show. So in the future, should you want to come back and join us with your comments, I will answer those at the end of the show. Okay. Chris, you're back. You're one of my favorite people in the whole world. You know that, right? It was one of those things I said about not getting into arguments online, right? Because it makes you look like a loser. It really does. Arguing, I'm not going to ruin my image or my value as a broadcaster by getting into an argument. If I have something that needs to be addressed aggressively, I'll make it short and sweet, but I'm not going to make myself look weak. So I will talk to that said person offline. But Chris, you're one of my favorite people. I adore the crap out of you. Oh, what's up? Hey, Jamal. Jamal is one of my newest members. Jamal is a fascinating individual. We've had a lot of fun over the years. Jamal and I have been connected on social media, and he is a trippy, fun dude. If you guys have a chance to look him up, he's going to give you something to chuckle about. Okay. You know what, though, you guys? I don't know how to translate a lot of these foreign comments, but here's what I can say. Today was heavy. Today was a difficult show, but we got through it. And the replay will be available for those of you who either joined late or are wanting to see the show again in the future. It is available in multiple platforms. So the information that we went through is going to be available forever across the internet. And with that, I thank you all for being here today. Today was a really special broadcast. It was something that I hold dear to my heart, and I hope to do more in the future, and I will get better at this. My name is Elizabeth Spraggins. I am the founder of All Joy Inspired, a life coaching company that offers services and products to help you get the answers you want to plan and succeed in your future. Should All Joy Inspired not be the right path for you, Digging from Darkness, Living in Light is a public group that is available to those who want to be around other folks who've been through a dark place and made it to the other side. Group experts in Digging from Darkness, Living in Light are in the group specifically to help others who might be having a hard time. Many people from different areas of interest and expertise, and it is totally free. You don't have to pay a dime for it. So with that, I bid you adieu. I thank you to everyone. Thank you for making this a wonderful day and a wonderful experience. We will see you guys again in the future. Bye-bye.